living large is for forms like me. Rhinox. Yeah! Rhinox! Maximize!
Hello everyone, I am back once again with another video review, and in today's review I will be taking a look at the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Voyager class Rhinox. Rhinox is an all-new mold that isn't a reuse of the old thrilling 30 Generations Rhinox from back then. Now obviously, as to be expected with Kingdom, the Beast characters are accurate to their cartoon models in terms of robot mode, but their Beast modes are taking real-life inspiration from the real-life mammals. Rhinox obviously taking inspiration from a real-life Rhino, with his robot mode being almost accurate to his Beast Wars cartoon model, though an interesting note is that his robot mode also has similarities to his Forged to Fight game model. For those of you who have played Transformers Forged to Fight, you know that Rhinox is one of the few Beast characters in that game. Taking a quick look at the packaging, standard Kingdom packaging with Rhinox on both sides. The front shows him charging in his Rhino mode. The side just shows him in his robot mode with his chain guns in his hands. Top here, War for Cybertron Trilogy, Maximal Insignia, slap bang right there. He is number 27 in the Kingdom line. Bottom, pretty much nothing. Back shows the product renders, Maximal Insignia, slap bang right here. Transformers logo right there. He transforms in 35 steps between modes. And the side, you just get your normal War for Cybertron Kingdom packaging. Rhinox is one of the few that is on the packaging, though obviously what you see here isn't what is seen on the actual box. Though with a lot of Kingdom figures, that is obviously not the case. So there you have that. Taking a look at the card he comes with, my Rhinox came with a Dinobot card. Golden disc on the side. The side shows an image of Dinobot, which is the same image shown on the Kingdom packaging. Peel back the sticker, and it shows Dinobot as Dynamis, a herald of Unicron. I'm pretty sure I can't read the text. If someone can read the text down below, though I do know that based on this, it says becomes Dynamis, a herald of Unicron. So there you have that for the card / sticker. Taking a look at Rhinox, as you see here. Beast mode, obviously taking inspiration from a real-life Rhino, with robot mode being close to his animation model, which I will touch base on when we get to robot mode. But taking quick details, nice red for the eyes, nice paint for the horn. He's mostly this sort of I want to say grayish color, sort of gray. Obviously, due to how he transforms, you get all the robot mode junk underneath, which is to be expected from a beast former. Though he cleans up pretty nicely despite the obvious green hinges right here. Articulation-wise in this mode, head can move like this, mouth, the jaw can open all the way, which I will show off in transformation. The inside of the mouth shows some nice detailing with the teeth, as well as a pinkish tongue. Arms, well, for the front legs, which will become robot mode arms, they can only move like this. They can move out, though that is mainly for robot mode. The back legs can only do forward and back on a ball joint. So yeah, Rhinox doesn't have a lot of articulation in beast mode when compared to robot mode, which is, I mean, it doesn't suck. Some Beast Wars characters, in terms of figures, have limited articulation. Comparison time. Here he is with fellow Maximal castmate Cheetor. Obviously, because Rhinox is a rhino and Cheetor is obviously a cheetah, it makes sense for Rhinox to be bigger than Cheetor, both in height, length, and width. The scale is pretty accurate, but in both modes, though I'm pretty sure a rhino would be a bit bigger and a cheetah would be a bit smaller. Here he is with Black Arachnia, obviously because bugs aren't in scale with mammals. Black Arachnia, in terms of beast mode, would be out of scale in terms of a real-life representation, but in both the Beast Wars cartoon as well as the War for Cybertron Kingdom cartoon, they would be roughly in scale. Here he is with T-Rex. I do not have the Megatron version of the mold, but seeing as T-Rex and Megatron are essentially the same mold, just with different paint, it makes sense. Now, obviously, a T-Rex is going to be bigger than a Rhino, so, yep, there you have this. And last but not least, just because I have them, here is Rhinox with the fossilizers, Paleotrex, and Wing Finger. And they cannot stand. Now, seeing as the fossilizers are obviously bone fossilized versions of the real life animals, the real life dinos, it makes sense for them to scale like this. So, yeah, and that was a just because comparison. So, that pretty much covers Rhino mode. Moving on to the transformation. Rhinox transforming in 35 steps is, well, it is complex, especially where the back is concerned, as this back half of Rhinox's alt mode is essentially the legs, with the torso and the front legs, and this will become the top half, as evident if you can see the obvious robot mode kibble. What you want to do is come up here, come back here, split everything like so. This will split open from the tabs right there. This whole back section will split open. Now, one thing to give credit on the designers is that they were able to incorporate Rhinox's chain guns of doom into the beast mode, though, and while the storage is pretty clever, it means that the guns themselves have to be smaller. Granted, the guns being smaller isn't that much of a big deal, even though they were a bit longer in the cartoon. The leg transformation is the tricky part, while the rest of him isn't that much tricky, as it's kind of straightforward. What you want to do is come to here, to bring all of this down like so. It is kind of annoying where the leg transformation is concerned, especially how everything has to maneuver and manipulate. So be careful with this. Take this, rotate it like so. Because there's literally not enough. There's barely any clearance for this. So there you have that. Take this, fold it in like so. Then extend all of this. This will fold in like so. Fold out what will become his foot. Untab it from there. Folds down here. Then take the Rhino mode leg, rotate it on the ball joint, fold it in like so. That will collapse in like so. This section that is split from his ass will just stay in there. Then this will tab into that little slot. And there you have the leg all done. Obviously, same for both sides. It is a bit of a hassle if you can manage. Fold out the foot. Take the leg, rotate it and fold it up like so. Take this, fold that down, bring this down like so, collapse that in, and now we have the legs all done. Now, it's pretty much straightforward. Just come up here. This will maneuver out of the way in order for the arms to fold out on the shoulders, like so. Then come to his chest, bring it out like so. Fold out the fake jaw that will become his chest and torso. Now, if you want to conceal this to make it actually look like it's part of the transformation, take the beast mode jaw and rotate it down like so past the head. If you can do that and it doesn't, like pop off or accidentally break, then you're good. Then what you want to do, bring down the hands, rotate up this swivel joint, fold this panel out to reveal the fists. Oh, make sure to take these sections and fold them up like so. Fold out the wrists, collapse that panel in like so. Same for the other side, though it is a bit tricky to do. Then, last but not least, rotate the head. And more or less, here you have Rhinox in his robot mode. And, well, we can't forget the guns, so now when you're going into beast mode, make sure the guns are lined up like this. Make sure the guns are lined up like this, so the obvious 5mm pegs are facing the same side, because if they're not lined up, you're gonna wind up with something like this, which doesn't look bad, but it's not gonna work. So, with all that being said, here we have Rhinox in his robot mode. If I can get it to stand. There he is. And yeah, he does what he needs to do for a figure of Rhinox. Now, obviously, with the beast mode taking inspiration from the real-life Rhino, Hasbro and Takara, as per tradition with the Kingdom figures, were able to keep his robot mode accurate. Now, while it is close to his on-screen model, it does have some similarities to his Forged to Fight game model, which is interesting, but not a big deal considering the Forge to Fight model of Rhinox in the game. Considering Rhinox's Transformers Forge to Fight game model is based off of the Thrilling 30 Rhinox, which in turn is based off of the original character, it makes sense. So, yeah, taking a quick look at the details before we touch base on his weapons. That head sculpt is obviously Rhinox. The eyes painted in nice red. The outline for his chin as well as head crest cast in gold paint, with the rest of the main head in a nice sort of lime-ish green. The chin and head crest I see is painted in gold. Hopefully, look, if it's not cast in gold plastic, and we all know what gold plastic does to certain figures, we're good. The fake jaw the fake jaw being the chest actually works, since there's no way that his actual Rhino jaw would be the chest. Because if you look at Rhinox's on-screen model, there's no way something this big would fit into something that small. Obviously, the obvious teeth are painted in a nice silver, with the main internal section being gold, with the rest of him being green, with the obviously Rhino gray. Arms are, now the hands and forearm are two different colors of green. Same with the obvious hinges. The legs, the thighs and upper legs are cast in green, with the rest being formed from the Rhino. So yeah, and gold for the crotch plate, obviously. Articulation wise, head is on a ball joint. It can do the full 360, which is meant for transformation, but still works. Can look up, not that far. Can't really look down. Can sort of tilt. Arms are on this butterfly joint, which helps with certain poses. Arms can do the full 360 on a swivel. Arms can go in and out, though it does leave hollowness in the arm, as it is just one clean cut since there's nothing covering it. But that's not much of a big deal breaker. Bend at the elbow. Due to the swivel joint, it does a full 360 swivel. No form of wrist rotation, though due to the transformation joint, the fists can move up and down. He does have waist rotation, though due to the obvious junk on the back and front, it's not a big deal. Speaking of the back, he cleans up pretty nicely, as the Rhino head and horn being on his back is accurate to all of his appearances. Legs can kick forward that far, back that far, outward. He can do the full splits, though you kind of have to cheat a little by bringing legs out like that. A bit of thigh rotation, but I wouldn't recommend doing it all the way, because I'm pretty sure that would likely bend or break a certain way. He does have two knee joints, so you can get almost, though not really, a good bend. Both knee joints allow for well past 90 degrees of bend, though it is not a deep bend. And as per tradition, we get the signature ankle rocker joint, and it can pivot back like so and forward like so, though not much forward when compared to the back pivot. So there you have that. And I forgot to mention this with the details, that His feet are cast in a nice blue paint with obvious rhino detailing going on throughout the foot. So overall, pretty nice. He does what he needs to do in terms of articulation and details, even if he doesn't have a wrist joint due to the transformation joint, but it's not a big deal. Touching base on his weapons, he comes with his signature chain guns of doom. They're cast in this gray color with the main sort of chainsaw detailing going on for the outline, cast in silver with the interior cast in gold. They can be stored on his back, as evident by the portholes that you see here. Now, he is a bit hollow, as there's nothing really covering the rest of his back, so if you want to sort of cover up the back, you have that. He does have ports near his shoulders on his back right here. So there you have storage if you want him holding them, which is obviously something you can do. He also has the Warp Cybertron portholes on his feet. So there you have that. So you can get Rhinox shooting at the Predacons with his chain guns of doom. Unfortunately, they don't have the rotating gimmick that was present on the old Thrilling 30 Rhinox figure. But the details are still there with the quadruple barrels. And 2 of the barrels on each gun are blast effect compatible. So you get 2 blast effect ports for the guns. The other blast effect ports, well, as you see, only 2 are compatible with blast effects, as they essentially have to combine when, storing the guns in beast mode. But it is something you can do. They are can't even say my shit right. So yeah, they are blast effect compatible, so you can have this going on, especially if you have certain blast effects that work like this. You can get Rhinox shooting at the Predacons like so, and you can get into some decent poses even without the wrist joint. So there you have that. Now, for comparisons, here he is with fellow Maximal Cheetor. So you can see how that works out. Obviously, Cheetor is going to be smaller, as Rhinox is one of the more bigger characters in Beast Wars. Here he is with Black Arachnia. So you can see how that works out. Here he is with T-Rex, obviously because T-Rex is the same mold as Megatron, and Megatron was obviously probably one of the only bigger characters from Beast Wars. It would make sense for a leader to sort of, I wouldn't say tower over him, though he still kind of does tower over him. So there you have that. And for one more final comparison, here he is with the fossilizers. Paleotrex, Wingfinger, obviously with Paleotrex being smaller in robot mode due to his design, it would make sense for him to be smaller than Rhinox, though Wingfinger is a tall deluxe due to him being thin and skinny. So there you have that. And now for some final thoughts. Do I recommend him? Yes. If you are a fan of Beast Wars, if you are a fan of Rhinox's character, and you are a fan of the Season 1 original characters, then Rhinox is one to get. If you have your old Thrilling 30 Rhinox, then this would be an easy pass if you still have your old Thrilling 30 Rhinox. Granted, the Kingdom Rhinox still does what he needs to do. So I recommend him if you are collecting the Kingdom line and you have sold off your original Thrilling 30 Rhinox. So overall, I would give Rhinox a solid 8 out of 10. The limited waist joint and lack of a wrist kind of holds him back, and though he doesn't have a lot of articulation in Rhino mode, it's not a big deal. He's still a pretty good figure, in my opinion. He does what he needs to do, as I said before. And if you're a fan of not just Rhinox, but also Beast Wars as a whole, then he's one to get. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Voyager class Rhinox. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.
Don't count on it, Motorhead. There's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak. No time to waste. Dinobot, lead the way. Rat Trap, Cheetor, help Optimus. I'll cover the rear.
Well done, old friend. Steady nerves and quick thinking.
Comes with the job description.
No, I'm serious. If you ever wanted to, you'd make one prime leader.
Thanks anyway, but I'll leave that sort of thing to you. I'd rather just tag along behind and smell the flowers. Get inside, you two! Move! Will you save it? I can't hold them off forever. Hard to digest. Do not turn your back on me, Maximal Scum! Huh? Oh, no, not that! I don't think so.